Welcome back to the channel. Today I am getting a Tesla Model 3 all-wheel drive from the auction. I don't think it's a performance, but the car is completely destroyed. I don't know if this thing rolled over. It looks like the fire department did a number on the doors. Looks like they cut 2 of them off. But the reason why I bought the car is I need a battery pack and at least 1 drive unit for an upcoming project. So hopefully one of these drive units is good and hopefully the battery pack survived. I have no clue what happened to this car, but it's pretty mangled. And hopefully there's a few other good parts. Looks like there may be 1 or 2 good wheels. We'll see what happens. I'll balance them out, make sure they're good before I sell them. But the car is on its way. It should be here in about 5 minutes. So let's unload this thing and see what we got ourselves into. The doors are like half connected. Yeah. It looks like they hit a church.
Oh yeah, it's just a sign, right?
Yeah, United Methodist Church.
Yeah, that one they have right here in the front, so I put it inside. I said I don't wanna.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to strap it. Hold on. I don't think it's gonna do it.
Okay.
Watch, it's gonna slide right off now. Sometimes they'll slide when they get going.
Sometimes, but right now it's out. You know that these wheels in the back is really bad, and the front is.
Yeah.
Workers or emergency service crews. Slow down.
May I do the other side? Oh, this one.
Oh, this one? I don't think that's gonna like.
Already.
I'm gonna go around that whole thing if I can. Damn. She's on there. It didn't even move, did it?
No. You pull. This is 4x4, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was a pain in the ass. Had to get the big dog down there with the auction forks to come grab the Tesla right here because it didn't want to come off the tow truck. It took a lot to get her off with the Ranger. But yeah, let's get this thing picked up. And these are kind of sketchy because you pick them up pretty much all the way by the battery. And then, yeah, sometimes the batteries light on fire. Just go under low because it's a Tesla, the battery's under there, and then just lift it up.
Nenno ain't gonna affect it, is it?
No, they lift them like this with at the auction.
Okay.
But just go low.
Always possible, and then you can make sure I guide me.
Yeah. Kind of go a little bit that way because you're on this tire. Okay. Now go up. Yeah, up. You could go in a little bit, but you're good. That one was right on the edge.
Yeah.
Okay. The top, the drive unit looks good in the front, but now that I have it up in the air, you can see that mount right there is broken. That sucks. And then this really sketched me out. The battery pack is actually punctured right here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the battery pack out first so I could strip all the modules out of it and get rid of all the modules. If this one's damaged right here, get rid of it. You can see this is actually smashed in pretty good on this side. The battery pack is now out of the Tesla and it's pretty iffy. I have no clue if any of the modules are good, just because you see these waves. All this is supposed to be flat. It was still bolted to the car, and as you can see up there, the floor is still flat, relatively flat. There's a few waves in it, but coming down here, I mean, it just is really sketchy. Plus, it's punctured on the passenger front. And if anybody is wondering where all the bolt holes are, because a lot of people don't show you where they are, I'm going to show you now. So there's a few that may be there or may not be there. It's like 50-50 if they decided to put them in or not. So you have all the main ones. I would do these 4 on each side last and undo all the rest of them. So undo these 4. There's this side and that side. They're exactly identical. And then there is a bolt right here. And there's bolts right here underneath the wire cover. There's 4 of those. And then up here, these are under the carpet. So these 2 are at the front. And then these 2 right here, there's sometimes bolts in there and there's sometimes not. So on mine, I didn't have these, but sometimes they could be there. So check for those. And then there's one back here. And then there's bolts all the way down the side. And you could see those really easily. And then there are also bolts in the back. So you have these back here, these 2 I would do last 2. So there's one here, one here. That's actually part of the rear subframe mount. So we're going to come up here and it's actually part of this mount. It ties in right here. So you undo those 2 bolts last and that bolt, and then put that bolt back in. And then there are a few bolts right here. So you have a bolt here, a bolt here, and a bolt here. And then actually that one is part of that one bolt. So then you have a bolt over here. Same thing, bolt right here. And then you have on the doghouse, you have 2 bolts here on those crossbars. So get those, and then you have all the connectors. So this is your main plug, then you have your BMS plug, and then you have the ground and the positive for a 12-volt system. But other than that, that should pretty much cover you. Nobody really tells you where all the bolts are. So I thought I'd just throw that in there if anybody is trying to pull one of these packs out, because they're kind of a pain. And I was trying to get this thing out as fast as possible because I felt like it was going to catch on fire. So let's pull this dog cover or doghouse cover, whatever you want to call it. Then I'm going to pull the main fuse, and then I'm going to pull all of the modules out of this battery pack today. I have the battery cover separated, as you can see right here. In the back, before you can pull the cover off, you have to separate all the bus bar and all of this right here needs to come off. The top of the battery pack off finally. It took quite a bit of work, and there was a bunch of stuff up here that had to be removed, the charger and all that, all the wiring. And then the worst part of this was getting these little clips for the connectors off, because they have little springs in them, and it's like a little metal spring washer clip, and it was really a pain to get that out. And then I actually cut the doghouse cover off because somebody said that you needed to, but I think that I could have got this off without doing that. So let's get the individual packs out of here. And the one thing I'm very surprised about is that this thing didn't light on fire, because you can see this is broken here. These things are actually pretty cool. I know a lot of people hate Teslas, but it's not going to be fully electric what I'm building with this. So it is really cool how the modules are set up. So you have, I'm not sure if that's positive or negative on one side, and then you have negative on the other side. So positive, negative. There's no way, well, I mean, you'd have to be really trying to actually electrocute yourself. So as you can see, I think now they're about 120 volts a piece, and you could touch them. This is DC, so if you touched both ends, it'd most likely kill you, but you have to complete the circuit. So a lot of people that are saying, I'm not going to say not to use protective hardware or safety gear when you're working on these, but I've worked on enough high voltage stuff that I'm not super concerned about it. I know if you complete the circuit that it will kill you, but if you're not completing the circuit, it's not going to do anything. So we have all 4 modules out of the battery pack, and these are pretty cool because they have coolant that runs through them to cool them. These are all the individual cells in the one battery pack that actually sustained some damage. I'm very surprised that it didn't actually catch on fire, but it looks like the cells are all good. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be able to rebuild this, but if worse comes to worse, I'll be able to at least salvage some pieces out of it, because these have a lot of cells in them. So, I mean, it is kind of sucks that this is bad or damaged, because you can see it's cracked right here. But at the same time, I have 3 of these modules. So I want to have at least 4 of them. But I think what I might do is, since the outer ones are smaller than the inner ones, so the inner ones are the longer ones, I'm going to try to either buy another car and get another set of inner batteries. So then I have 4 inner batteries, which I should have like a 300-ish mile range just on batteries alone, which will be awesome. So yeah, let's store these somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put them yet, because they're quite large, and you have to kind of have them on something, because there's not really, so there's on the bottom of them, it has like a dielectric, and it also absorbs moisture or coolant if there's a spill in the battery pack, which this one actually leaked coolant in the battery pack, which isn't a big deal. But at the same time, it doesn't really have a nice way to set it on stuff. It doesn't actually, on the outsides it bolts in, but the inside packs, they just slip in. So it's not like it has a very secure way to set them on something. So I have them on these little dollies, and they're just on the outside. So I think it should be fine there. But yeah, we'll get everything figured out once I figure out which battery packs I'm going to end up using, or if I'm going to end up getting 2 of the center ones or 4 of the center ones, and kind of go from there. But yeah, let's start stripping the motors and the drive units out of the car. And I think after we do that, I'll be able to pretty much just scrap the rest of the stuff, because there isn't much else good on this. I'll separate some of the aluminum stuff and just kind of salvage what I can, and whatever's left over, I don't want this thing sitting around. I'm probably just going to take it directly to scrap after I get everything I want off of the car. As you can see, we have a broken mount right here. It kind of looks like the case is also, maybe that's not a crack, maybe that's just a parting line, but I think I'm probably going to just end up maybe tearing this down. Axle on this side is there, but it doesn't look usable at all, and the axle stub is still on there, which is nice. But it's really cool how small and compact these drive units are. I mean, Tesla really has come a long way in drive unit technology. Do to get these brake calipers off is you need a 12-volt battery, since it is an electronic parking brake. Usually on Teslas, in an accident, these parking brakes are engaged and you can't actually roll the car off of anything. They won't move, so you have to actually put the wheels on something to get them on a lift. But to be able to remove the calipers, this also is true if you're doing the brakes. You can just use a 12-volt battery to release it, and then you don't ruin it, because all this electronic parking brake stuff right here moves the piston in and out. So it has hydraulic pressure, so it works like a normal caliper, but it also works like a mechanical parking brake, if you know what I mean, because it's going to spin this piston around. The Model 3 is now stripped and out of the shop, and unfortunately, even at a $1,300 price point, after fees and shipping and everything from the auction, it really doesn't make sense to buy these vehicles and try to part them out. So the one thing that most people don't really consider is the added risk that you have with the battery packs and them burning your building down. So there was a local yard that bought a Tesla from the auction. It came, they loaded it in the shop to strip the next morning, and then it burned their whole facility down to the ground. You have to worry about this every time you strip one of these vehicles. And the bigger the battery packs, the worse the fires are gonna get. And the one thing is the insurance companies should be liable for this because they have the body shops do estimates. They know that there's punctures in the battery pack. The car that I got, if that car was in Florida or Dallas or anywhere that got a lot of precipitation, most likely that car would have been, or this car would have been a ticking time bomb. Luckily enough, it was a Colorado car. We don't get a lot of rain here, so there was no water in the pack. Water and lithium ion cells do not mix. Lithium in water explodes. So that being said, the insurance companies know what's wrong with the car. The body shops do the estimates for the car. The police do reports on the car, but they don't include any of that information when they're selling it at the auction, which is kind of really shady if you ask me, because they're doing it in a way so they make more money because they know if they included that information, the cars wouldn't get what they get. Even though I got this car for $1,300, it would have made more sense to get it for $500 after fees and everything, which means the car would have sold for $50 at the auction. That's what the insurance company would have got. And then the rest of the fees for the auction house and then shipping. So unfortunately, like I said, I really don't think the risk is worth it. But since I am using some of the parts for the Model X, the P100 or the D100, whatever it was, the Model X with the large drive unit, I needed some parts for that to get everything to work in a project that I'm doing. And it just kind of made sense to buy this car because it's local. Unfortunately, if I was a salvage yard, I would have lost a bunch of money because I have so much overhead. And I just think nobody really thinks about that, which is crazy. So hopefully this video is going to kind of inform people that these cars are not as safe as people think. And the issue isn't because they're electric, it's because the insurance companies are listing them in a way that could potentially burn your building down or start a fire, or even if this thing was coming down the highway and there's some water in the pack and it just jiggled something from the vibration a certain way, it could have lit on fire on the highway. So these cars are a lot more dangerous than I think the insurance companies are really thinking of, or maybe they're just doing it because they can, because they're so large, because I know the insurance companies do a lot of shady stuff at the auction. I have a video that I want to do. I've been keeping track of cars at the auction for 3 years now, and I think the insurance companies aren't going to be very happy about what I'm going to show. So I'm going to end the video here. Super excited that I got this Tesla, but unfortunately, it's not a moneymaker. I really didn't plan on it being a moneymaker, but I was hoping I would get at least one good drive unit out of it. But you know, things are what they are. I'm going to end the video here. If you like these videos, make sure to click that subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.